Yo, I'm outside today. Yeah, and I wanted to talk about flops. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of stuff on the internet talk about flops and flop this and what exactly constitutes a flop for a movie. I guess the basic idea of it would be if you spent money and you didn't make it back or you didn't profit at all. That's what a flop would be. But there are a few factors that you have to take into consideration when you think about that. I think number one is the number of screens that your film is showing on. Another one would be the idea that whatever movie says their budget is, $300 million or whatever, half that goes to marketing. So it really took $150 million to make that movie. Let's also not forget that sometimes it's not about making the most money. It's about impact. Sometimes these films that open on the weekend and make hundreds of millions of dollars, nobody cares about a year later, 2 years later, 10 years later. Then there's movies that might not make as much profit, and then they're part of pop culture forever. Don't get me wrong. I think the Sydney Sweeney thing, the flop was really a flop. Not just because of the money she didn't make. I think the subject matter and just her personal point of views got my biases all up in there. But that's a video for another day. So they said Tron Ares was a flop. I personally loved the Tron series. I feel like it was the precursor to The Matrix and a lot of these movies that deal about what is reality and what is this digital reality? Is the digital realm more real than our physical reality? So Tron Ares, it touches back on that theme, which I thought was appropriate, but it kind of flipped everything with the digital beings coming into the real world and this idea that they don't last long. So the MacGuffin for the movie is this impermanence code, the permanence code. That's the MacGuffin for this movie. And it centers around Ares, obviously, who, people hate Jared Leto for whatever reason now. Again, that's a video for another day. And Ares is sort of a digital being who's supposed to do what he's told, but turns out not doing what he's told. Sound familiar? It's pretty 1, 2, 3 by storytelling standards, and I think maybe that's what people were upset about. I think they did miss a good theme. They touched upon it a little bit, which is this idea of permanence versus impermanence, where a digital being can replicate and be respawned, but once you reach permanence, you only have one life. So does that give your life more meaning, or is it more beneficial to be able to respawn and live forever? So I thought that was a pretty deep idea that they didn't really delve into. It was there, but the movie remained surface. But it was okay. It wasn't terrible. I still think Tron Legacy was way better. I think people hate Jared Leto, and this celebrity worship / hate that's part of just the collective consciousness now is getting in the way of people really enjoying some decent stuff. But would I watch it again? Nah.